Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, evening, or other times that you watch this video. So I'm Ahmad Amin bin Abdul Somad, ID number 622131202225, with my partner.
Hi, my name is Haikal bin Rosli. My ID number is 622-1311-9254.
Okay, today both of us will present about a session in the specific category each cutoff. So we have a three part of this presentation. The first part is definition. The second part is how to test cutoff assertion, and the third part is cutoff example. So for the definition of cutoff, we found about three similar words that have a potential to describing the cutoff, and for easy understanding for those who are not be able to experience study in audit before. So the first definition is the assertion is that all transactions and events were recorded within the correct reporting period. The second definition, it means transaction appearing in the current year profit or loss statement actually relate to the current accounting period. And the last definition is to ensure that all inventory movement around the year end are recorded in the correct period. So based on these three definitions, we can summarize about cut off actually mean all the transaction, all the event, all the uh, things that happen within a year assessment and have been reported in the financial statement uh, in a that period, which means that if the transaction happened in 2015, so all the transaction happened in 2015 recorded in that period, and none of the transaction will be recorded in the next or previous period, because the transaction happened in the year assessment will be recorded in the year assessment only, and did not relate or interrupt with the other transaction that happened in advance or accrual. So the second part is how to test cut-off a session. The first one is you must make sure that all transactions have been reported in the proper financial period. You do so by testing purchases and sale of assets for the few days before and after the year of the financial period to make sure fixed asset transactions are recorded in the right period. So from these words is describing about how to record the fixed asset transaction that happen in this in a specific period, which means that the transaction of the purchasing and sale of assets that happen in year assessment 2019, for example, have been recorded in this this year only, which means that the purchase of asset that have been purchased by the management is recorded in the year assessment 2019, and the sale of asset disposal of asset by the management also have been recorded in year assessment 2019. So none of the transaction have been recorded in advance for the next period or in the previous period as accrual. So the transaction that happened in this period has been recorded within this period, and this is can be categorized as cutoff. And for the second test is select the last five transaction of the closing period and first five transaction of the coming period. Then ensure they are recorded in the correct general ledgers. Make sure the last five sales are really the last five sales recorded in the sale ledger. Similarly, make sure that the first five transactions are the first transaction appearing in the sale ledger of the next period. Okay, for this test, select the last five transactions that happened in the closing period for this period for year assessment 2019, and the first five transaction of the coming period, which means that the first five transactions that happened in year assessment 2020. So, and they have to ensure that this transaction the 10 transactions have been recorded in the correct general ledger, and we have to make sure that the last 5 sales are really the last 5 sales recorded in the last diesel ledger, which means that all the 5 sale transaction that we took for this closing period year assessment 2019 have been really happened in year assessment 2019. These are not assumption or are not a predict or expectation of from the management, which means that it's really happened in the reality. And similarly, make sure that the first 5 transactions are the first transaction appearing in the sale ledger of the next period. Okay, if we take a 5 transaction that happen in the next period, we have to take the first 5 transaction. We cannot take the middle 5 transaction or the last 5 transaction of the period year assessment 2020. So, to make sure that the first 5 transaction that from the next period, we have to analyze or took it from the sales ledger. As we can see, all the recorded have been recorded within the period of year assessment 2020. So that's all for the first 2 part. I will give to my partner for the last part.
Okay, I will explain what the cut-off example. And first example is confirming salaries and wages recorded during the current accounting period are related to the same period. The second example is verifying accrued or prepaid expenses are recorded in the correct period. And the third example is tracing, receiving documentation and shipping documentation to purchases and sales, respectively, to verify purchases and sales are recorded within the proper fiscal year. Okay, but the first example, it means confirm salaries and wages recorded. It means we must make sure the date of salaries and wages that we are recorded in financial statement must be the same with the accounting period of that company. And the second example is verifying accrued or prepaid expenses are recorded in the correct period. Means we also must make sure the accrued and prepaid expenses are recorded within the accounting period. And the last example is tracing, receiving documentation and shipping documentation to purchases and sales. It means we must check the document that we are received from purchase and sales is related with the accounting period. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, what I can summarize for this 3 part is cut-off is about a transaction that happened in a period, which means that if all the transaction, sales transaction, purchase transaction that happened in year assessment 2019 must be recorded in the year assessment 2019, cannot be recorded in the year 2020 or year 2018. And sale in advance, purchase in advance, and all of that must be recorded in their can be recorded in year assessment 2019, but have to be specific as sale in advance or purchase in advance. So all the transaction that be recorded in the year within the period can be called as cut off, and a lot of transaction have been assessed as cut off by the management if we can look through the financial statement from the company. So that's all from us about the cut off session that we have been listed in the audit session. So thank you.